Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast. We've got Coach Eric Gough with us this evening from Fort Zumwalt West High School, talking a little baseball. And always remember that YBMcast is powered by Game 7 Baseball. Tournament baseball at its best. If you're looking for a weekend tournament to get into, there's still some stuff open coming up through the summer. You can go out to Tennessee, Illinois, here in the St. Louis metro area. They're doing a great job. We're going to be out at the ballpark in a couple weeks. We didn't get to go out there because it got rained out this past weekend. I'm sorry to hear that, but it happens. Rain happens. We need some rain sometimes. But be looking for Youth Baseball Midwest out at Game 7 tournaments. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. Come by, see us, talk to us. We'll get you on camera. There you go. That'll be fun. So always remember, game7baseball.com. Dave and Dave doing a great job. Coach Gough, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always happy to talk some baseball, particularly when it's going well. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You know, the GAC districts, or actually just districts, period, Missouri districts got out real late this year. I know we had talked with Kenny Seifert over at Misha, and, you know, they were working on some new stuff. So there was some differences, but I think, you know, I don't think there was any surprise where you guys were, though, correct?
Oh, no, we knew we were going to be in Class 6 all the way. You know, if you look at the districts, the guys that were kind of on the bubble a little bit were the schools like Zumwalt South, Zumwalt East, and, Russ Hill over at East is a real good buddy of mine. I'm excited for him that, they're in Class 5 and he's off to a really good start over there. And they're looking at the opportunity they have now being in Class 5, being one of the bigger schools in Class 5 instead of being the small school in Class 6, that they're going to have a chance to really compete and maybe make a little run if they can play well. So that's what everybody wants. But if you're one of the smaller schools in any class, it's really tough.
It is, isn't it?
You know, there was never any doubt where we were going to be, and it was just a matter of who we were going to be mixed up with. And it's going to be a lot different this year, just in the fact that it's an 8-team district instead of 6, and so the 1 and 2, you still got to win 3 games. Right. And the pitching's going to set up a little differently for everybody in that there's no easy outs as far as the first round kind of ball games. So it's going to be a district where having 3 guys you can rely on is a little more important than in some years past. If you're the 1 or 2 seed, you can get by having 2 big arms. So we like that this is a year that we have 3 or 4 guys that are really solid guys, and we got a few guys coming out of the pen that are competing and doing a great job too. So we feel pitching depth-wise, we're as good as anybody out there. So the change is good for us.
So you've got Hickman and Battle in your district. Is that a pretty much an unknown? I know everybody else it's familiar. It's GAC, but right. Hickman and Battle. How's that going to stack up with you?
Well, it's good for us. We're going to go up to Columbia this weekend. We actually have a Columbia tournament that Hickman, Battle, and Rockbridge are all in. Jeff City's in it as well. So Justin Tao at Rockbridge is the guy that's kind of the guy who does most of the legwork hosting it. But Mason Mershon at Hickman, and there's a new guy over there at Battle that I haven't really had the opportunity to meet yet. But those guys do a great job hosting it and getting games in and getting really quality teams from all across the state to come in for a weekend tournament. We also went up and played Hickman in the Jamboree this year, so we get to see him up there, and just having that we see him in the Jamboree every year, we kind of have an idea of what they have year in and year out, and what they have coming back. So it's nice that we got to see them there, and then of course that just gives us an opportunity to talk to the Mid-Missouri guys and just talk about who's good, who's winning, who's playing hot, who's got some big arms, who's got some big sticks, and so it just kind of gives us a feel for that. I always think that the Mid-Missouri guys have an advantage when they're coming to play us when sectionals and playoffs roll around, because all they got to do is look on STL today and they can see all of our stats, and they get that the first line scouting report that we don't have on them. So, but we'll beat the phone lines and make some calls and get some connections, get some information whenever we can, whenever that situation comes up. And so they're just a little bit unknown. Not quite the familiarity with the GAC schools, of course.
The Hickman school, I know I was looking, they went down, I think they played at Kickapoo and they beat Kickapoo down there. I know from what I've
Yeah, they're a
heard.
quality ball club.
Yeah, what I've heard, Kickapoo's pretty good, and their record is showing it. They've played some good quality stuff, and Hickman beat them. So I think that's kind of gives you a little bit of a feel there for what you're dealing with as well. Now I don't know
Oh, absolutely.
their depth or anything like that. I'm not familiar with it, but so I think your district, and not to mention that if you got Hickman there, you're Liberty, Troy, Holt, all of them right there.
Throw Timberland in there. Timberland's going to be real tough out too. So
yeah, I mean, if you got to face Victor Quinn at Liberty, right?
Oh yeah,
and then oh my goodness, it's not going to be an easy road to the district title.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Whoever comes out of the districts, whichever district you're in, hands down is going to be good enough to win it all. And I would say that even in our district, between Troy, Timberland, Hickman, Liberty, those, I mean, it's a really deep district with a lot of quality ball clubs, and you can make a case for 4, 5, 6 teams to have a shot to win the district title. So and you wouldn't be wrong if you had support for any of them.
So I want to get over here to talk a little rankings, because we've been talking with Kevin Mulder, and he's starting to come on the show on a weekly, and we're talking about high school baseball, and he's got you this week ranked number 1 in the large schools in Missouri. Lafayette right behind you at number 2, and that's your only loss there is to Lafayette, and Lafayette's a good team.
Oh, they're good. If you were to ask me, they're the head of the class of the teams that we've seen so far, in my opinion. And of course, that's from a small sample size with one game, and you don't see all their arms necessarily. But we saw Lafayette's top arm, who's going to Oklahoma, and just a quality arm. Felt real good to get 4 runs off of them that day, actually, and give ourselves a chance to win. So, but as far as being a high school lineup that's just deep and stacked 1 through 9, Lafayette's the best lineup we've seen 1 through 9. Wow. There's guys that can do damage throughout that lineup, and you're going to have to have a few breaks here and there, or maybe have them hit into a couple outs that are kind of loud outs, if you will, and just really pitch effectively and not make any mistakes, because they're 1 through 9, they're the best ball club that we've seen. And not to take anything away from any of the others we've seen, because we've seen a ton of quality teams. So sure. we feel very fortunate to have had the success that we've had so far, and so it's looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, you're not the only one we've heard say that about Lafayette, though. When we were talking with Mulder, he'd seen Lafayette, and he said a lot of the same things. So I think up there with you, he's got you, Lafayette, Francis Howell, and then Liberty North and Liberty and Timberland. I mean, so your district's well represented in his top 6 there. CBC down at number 10. And then over at, of course, now this is the STL Today, and they just basically are doing the St. Louis metro area, basically, I think is what it is. But they have you at number 2 behind Edwardsville over in Illinois.
Right.
And so I think that's the kind of thing. And then Lafayette right behind you. So it's kind of the same type of thought process there. I think everybody's kind of looking at that with you and Lafayette there. You guys have played well at the beginning of the season. So tell me a little bit, what's come into your success as you've kind of, 16-1. I don't care. Baseball's a game that's tough to lose just one game in that kind of period of time.
Yeah. Fortunately, we've had multiple games where we've just taken advantage of mistakes. As a coaching staff, we've kind of talked about, the number of games where we've been gifted numerous walks or multiple errors in the same inning that have opened up innings. And with the way we're hitting right now, we've pretty much capitalized on a lot of those opportunities. And been able to put up some crooked numbers in some innings and kind of put people behind the 8 ball, if you will. Yeah. But the biggest key to our success so far has just been our pitchers. Our pitching staff has absolutely made the commitment to pound the zone, throw strikes, and make teams earn it. And quite frankly, defensively, we're a much better ball club defensively than I expected us to be. Of course, coming back from having the year off last year, nobody really knew exactly what they had coming in. But defensively, we've been really clean in some high pressure situations. And that just goes to the competitive nature of the kids that we have. We have a bunch of baseball guys that really have good baseball IQs. They understand the game. And the biggest thing that I've been impressed with is we talk about it, but actually get kids to buy in and get kids to do it and to control their emotions when situations get a little bit intense or the pressure amps up a little bit, to get kids just to take a deep breath, relax, and just focus on win this pitch. And the number of bases loaded, nobody out jams, or second and third, nobody out, or one out jams, the number of jams that we've gotten out of this year, I just look back and kind of scratch my head and just, at some point you tip your cap to your own kids and go, man, great job, kid. And our game against Vianney Saturday was no different. Vianney, 6-4 ball game. We pushed a couple cross late to go up 6-4, and just a back and forth ball game with a great team. And then we kicked one in the 7th, and I think they have a hit, and then we have a hit by a pitch, or maybe it was a walk and a hit by a pitch, and all of a sudden it's bases loaded, nobody out. Bottom of the 7th, we only got a 2-run lead that we're hanging on to. So, and once again we got out of it. I think it was we got a big strikeout, we got a little number back to the pitcher. I think we actually walked one in, which just makes us on pins and needles a little more. But then we got a ground ball to end it. So the kids just kept competing and kept focused on winning this pitch, one pitch at a time, and let the scoreboard take care of itself. My job is to execute right now. And for a group of high school kids to have that mentality, that's been the biggest key of our success, is their ability to just stay within the moment, not let the pressure get too big, and just go out and do their best to execute what their job is. So that's been the key so far, and we're just going to try to keep doing that, keep it simple, and do simple better.
That's something you hear a lot. You hear it from professionals, you hear it from all kinds of people talking about that idea of keeping it simple, stay in the moment. But that is so hard to do, and especially when you have young athletes, like you said. But if you've got a group of kids that you have some seniors, are you pretty senior laden, Coach?
Yeah, we got a real solid group. So we actually have 12 seniors. We have 12 seniors, eight juniors, and a sophomore up with us right now. And we're a senior heavy squad for sure. The experience they draw on sometimes comes from some other sports, because we have a couple basketball guys out there. We got a few football guys out there. And then not only drawing on all their baseball experience, we got few of those multi-sport guys that have been in some of those critical situations where they're a little more unfazed by the pressure situation. And even the guys that are just baseball guys, they're just kind of an easygoing crew that they have belief in themselves, and they fall back on their training and just they believe themselves to get the jobs done. So the senior leadership definitely helps, especially in a year like this when you're coming back with so many unknowns. So that's been a big plus for us too.
It makes a difference then with the message that you're presenting, your coaching staff, from you to your coaching staff, really taking that message. They're taking that to heart. They understand that it's real, these pressure situations, they've been in it. And like you said, so that message doesn't just kind of bang off the head and go right back out, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the great thing about it is, and I try to compliment my kids and tell them I appreciate them and love them, is, we have, in my opinion, we have 13, 14, 15 guys that I would love to write in the starting lineup every day. And I've had multiple conversations with them and say, hey, you're taking great swings in BP. You're doing a great job in practice. You're hustling. You've done absolutely nothing wrong, but come here and bust your butt every day. It's just this guy's getting the job done in front of you right now. So just keep doing what you're doing. And every time I've had that conversation with a kid, it's been, Coach, I don't care, we're winning. I just want to do what I can to help the team. So I got a bunch of we guys. And when you got a bunch of we guys, it makes a big difference in the environment and the attitude. And and kind of the camaraderie that you can't quantify what that does for winning baseball. But when you got a bunch of guys that have figured out to play for each other, not just with each other, it makes a big difference. Those guys really do play for each other and pick each other up, and there's great teammates and great leaders. So
that makes a huge difference. And you hear that talked about at every level of sport. You talk about, kind of that family atmosphere. You understand, hey, these are my guys and we're going to play together. And when you get that team thought process and you've got quality talent, that is a hard combination to beat. It really is. And when you're looking,
for sure.
You opened up the season, you had a couple of early season tournament wins. You won the Troy Classic. You beat CBC to win that one. And you also won the Midwest Classic and you beat Holt for that one. And I mean, you've got some quality wins starting off. It's not like, you've got a Timberland win here, again, the CBC, and you beat a good Westminster team. I mean, Westminster's good. And
I think we caught them on a day where they didn't play their best ball, and we took advantage of it. So, but that's what good teams do. I mean, so. But yeah, as good as our record is, I would stack our schedule up against anybody's in the state and say, find me a tougher schedule with the opponents that we play. And so, and that's the way we schedule. We've always scheduled it that way since I've been there. Is getting those two tough tournaments early, and actually just after we won the Midwest Classic, I got a lot of questions like, how many times you won those tournaments? And I said, never. And in my 10, 11 years as the head coach there, it's the first time we've even been in either championship game because those tournaments are so loaded with quality teams. And, you gotta have a lot of depth in pitching. You're going to throw a lot of pitchers out there because generally speaking, you don't rack up pitch counts quite like I did this year with running some guys that are big dudes that are experienced in warmer weather. But yeah, those are quality tournaments. And to win one of those two tournaments, you're having a great start. So, to win them both and then sprinkle in between there, a couple wins against Westminster and to say that we've had a good start and then you got a Vianney win and you beat a good Zumwalt South team. So yeah, I mean it's I think we've played as tough a schedule as anybody in the state. And if you look at our schedule and look around some records and who we've played, you'd be hard pressed to make a case that anybody's played a tougher schedule than we have. So the challenge now is we got to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. We talked about.
It's not going to get any easier for you. It's not getting easy for you, Coach. If you're talking about going on the road here for that mid-mo tournament and then I'm looking at your schedule, you're Troy following that, Francis Howell again, Timberland, Liberty, Winsville. You got Francis Howell Central, and Francis Howell Central's playing pretty well. And
absolutely. They got a couple arms too that can shut you down.
Yeah. And then you finish with Marquette. I mean, goodness, make it easy on yourself, Coach.
Well, the thing is I've never been a guy that was concerned about the record. I'm not in this for getting. I'm not in this to win every ball game. We're in it to put kids in situations that are going to challenge them, give them opportunities to learn and grow, and prepare for that district run and that playoff run, because that's what it's all about. I mean, any coach would trade a conference title, a Midwest Classic title, a Troy title, a Columbia. You trade them all to get a district title and take a run at the Final Four and take a run at the state championship, because that's the ultimate goal. So all this preseason stuff with these two great tournaments, and then going to Rock Ridge next week with another just high quality tournament loaded with teams from St. Louis, Mid-Mo, and Kansas City that are really darn good. It's just we just want to give our kids every opportunity to see as many top arms as we can see, to see as many top teams as we can see, top bats that we can see, and to challenge ourselves to put us in situations to where we need to understand the game, we need to play together, we need to execute. That's what we really want to do is we want to win every ball game, but we want to compete our butts off, and we want to be tested, and we want to be ready. So when we're in that pressure situation in the district championship game, or possibly a sectional game or a Final Four game, that it's not a situation that the kids are uncomfortable with and unfamiliar with. That they've been in that situation, they understand it, and we're seeing the best teams around, and we'll be ready to see them again when when that time comes down the road.
I don't like to say some of these things sometimes because, you always think about people go, oh man, you shouldn't have said that. But your kids are playing real well. You've got a lot of kids really hitting the ball well, Coach. I was looking at the stats. You got some kids really, hitting in that high 300, 400 range. And there, this as well as anybody. And I think this is what's interesting is, there's going to become those spurts here and there where that may tail off. It's just baseball. Sure. Statistically, that's just the way it works. You hope it doesn't, I'm sure, but, and I think that's kind of what you're getting at. You're going to play in those tough situations because when that does get tougher and the pressure mounts with those, pressure situations late in the season, you're in a district title. You've seen that before. You may be gone through a streak where you're 0 for 10, but it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you mentally as much, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's, and that's the reason we go out and we want to see those top guys. And really what I've been impressed with is just talking offensively, the way our guys have competed against some of the top arms. The Lafayette kids going to Oklahoma. We saw, we've seen a couple of Mizzou commits on the bump that we've had success against and taken really good at bats. We've seen a kid going to Missouri State and had success against him. Not his best day on the bump again, but it's, we've been fortunate that we've really competed in those situations. And I got a group of guys that really, when they get 2 strikes, they kind of grind it out a little bit. They're tough outs. And I think that's tough sometimes for 16, 17, 18-year-old kids to understand and to do is when you get 2 strikes, find a way to get the bat on the ball, foul off a couple pitches, and maybe you work a walk out of it, or maybe you find the mistake pitch and you hit one hard through the infield, or maybe you just fight off another one and it ends up being a little duck fart and you get a hit out of it. So, we've had some success grinding out at bats and staying in the moment and finding a way to be successful.
It looks like a line drive in the stat book, right? That's all
saying. It's all saying. Yep. Always.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. Look, we get a little closer to the district, so I'd love to have you back on, talk, as we get moving in that direction, if you would.
Sure thing. Yeah, it's always a pleasure. I always love talking baseball, and we're going to do everything we can to keep it rolling, and full well knowing that we got a tough schedule in front of us, and there's bound to be some hiccups along the way. But we're going to keep on keeping on and keep prepping for that run. So appreciate it again, and wish you the best, and hopefully talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Good luck to you the rest of the way. Everybody, hopefully stay healthy, and you guys keep rolling. Coach Eric Gough, Fort Zumwalt West. They're 16-1. Hey, keep a watch on them. If you want to see a good baseball game, get out to some of these high schools, guys. Your schools, your fans. There is some really, really good baseball out here in the state of Missouri. Go enjoy it. All right. Everybody, have a great day in the Lord. You pitchers, keep throwing strikes. You hitters, hit them where they ain't, and we'll see you next time.